Today, the crypto market is dumping back to the downside. We see on the daily chart for Bitcoin a nice big red candle coming back to our upward sloping trend line. Ethereum also still above the upward sloping trend line, though it looks like we're starting to come back to retest it right now. And we're going to be discussing exactly what we need to look for, what price levels can determine whether we're going to break down or continue this uptrend, what indicators will signal to let us make sure whether this is going to be an uptrend or a breakdown coming up next. And we're going to discuss all of that in today's video. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we've had a little bit of rough price action to the downside. Bitcoin is dumping currently as I'm making this video. Go to the hourly chart. We can see that we are coming down to test the upward sloping trend line. Now, I want to talk about the exact price levels that I'm looking for that will basically invalidate the uptrend, and what indicators I'm looking for that will show if we are about to shift to the downside or continue to the upside. We got indicators and price levels for Bitcoin and Ethereum here today. So I'm in the process of editing this video right now. And before we get into it, I want to make sure that I make something clear that wasn't necessarily clear, I think. Because a lot of people, when they hear me say something, like if I say the price is going to, like a downtrend would begin if we get below this level, or if this occurs on the RSI, we get below this level, a downtrend, or if we get above here, uptrend. If I say these things, remember, I'm discussing conditions in the market. So if I say a downtrend would occur if we get below 23,550, that means that if we get there, right? It doesn't mean that I'm bearish right now and now I'm just flipping bearish or whatever. Sometimes I feel like people don't understand what I'm trying to say, and I just want to make it clear. The Ethereum's going crazy right now, up and down, up and down. So it's like it's very unclear if we're going to hold this support level. But in this video, I want to discuss the conditions, certain prices, certain indicators that if the conditions are met, it could result in a downtrend. It's a downtrend until it's not. We're still in an uptrend until it's not an uptrend, right? So yes, it's a close call. We're really close right now. So let's just hop into the video. So for Bitcoin right now, we can see that we are in an upward sloping trend. This is an uptrend. Basically what I would say is it's an uptrend until it's not an uptrend. And when would it not be an uptrend? It would be if we break below the upward sloping trend line. Then it is a breakdown. It's no longer an uptrend. What price does it come in at? Well, this last wick low right here at 23,500. Well, on Binance, it's 23,583. I think on some exchanges, it's 23,550. This price level is the last low right here, and it's also coinciding with the upward sloping trend line. So if Bitcoin comes down to this right now, 23,550 about, and breaks down, well, we're getting a lower low and we're getting below the upward sloping trend line, and that would essentially invalidate the uptrend. Now, another very important indicator that coincides with the upward sloping trend line is Bitcoin on the daily. Bring up the daily RSI right here. And what we can see is we have Bitcoin actually starting to peak below the RSI trend line. If you guys are regular viewers of this channel, you know that we've pretty much been obsessing over this RSI trend line, and it has been a fantastic area to take longs. Every time we get to the upward sloping trend line, it is the area of maximum opportunity for the next move up. And Bitcoin is now retesting it currently. And if Bitcoin breaks below the RSI trend line, while at the same time breaking below 23,250 and the upward sloping trend line, if we get below that and we're below this, well, that is a break of the trend. The uptrend could arguably be over if we do, in fact, meet all of those requirements, right? Instead of guessing, let's just let the chart speak for itself. So I'm just going to repeat myself here. It is an uptrend until it's not. It is an uptrend right now. So in theory, if the trend continues, here now is actually the optimal long entry until we're below that. We're above it now. It was actually peaking below it. Now we're a little bit above it now. So this is, in theory, an optimal long entry. Now, of course, if we get below 23,550 and we're below the RSI trend line, you would want to stop out of your trade at that point. Then it becomes a gray area. We might break down. But in theory, this is still the optimal long entry for the next leg up. This is just what it is right here, right? I'm just giving you guys the signal. I'm just telling you how it is. Ethereum also, this upward sloping trend line here. We have a major resistance, 1800 right here. If Ethereum comes down to 1800 and breaks below this upward sloping trend line, well, that's a previous resistance failing as support, and also the previous trend line failing as support. And Ethereum as well right now is kind of in a similar RSI trend. And if we get below this RSI trend line, yes, that likely brings in major downside momentum. None of this is confirmed until it's confirmed, right? It's an uptrend until it's not. So these are the bearish indicators, which we are very close to. We're very close to, but we'll see if they occur. Something that I was saying on Twitter earlier was that basically if there still exists some kind of residual bull sentiment lingering, right? There's people on the sidelines waiting to get in, basically ready to FOMO. This dip could be bought up for one final blow off top, which would create excessive over-evaluation. And if this occurs, if we do see another pump up, that would be pretty excessive. And I would say be cautious at that point. We've talked about this a lot. A lot of people are bullish, and it's the time to be cautious right now. We've talked about this in the past 2 videos, that it's okay to be bullish, but definitely be cautious. If I tell you guys, if this happens, the run's over, people just say, oh, you're bearish now. Well, actually, no, I'm actually not. I'm only bearish once these things trigger. Once these conditions are met, that's the time to become bearish. Again, it's an uptrend until it's not. Below 23,550 in the uptrend line, below the daily RSI for Bitcoin, right? The RSI trend line. That's when I start to get bearish. We're pretty much on the cusp right now. And if we bounce here, then we're saved, right? Then the bulls are saved, but we're close. It's very, very close. Our longer term MAs are still generally up, curling over a little bit, right? And once this 100 EMA is curled over and down, that's when we can be really sure that we're gonna, basically execute a downtrend. We have short-term moving averages, short-term EMAs starting to curl over here. The middle one kind of flat, the 100 still slightly up. So there's still a chance that we bounce off of the trend line 1800 and hold. And like I said in my last video, or the last 2 videos, I was saying if you're buying Ethereum right here, whether we go up more or not, if you're buying Ethereum right here, the market is likely going to go below where you bought and lower later. We've been saying this a lot on this channel. If you're buying here, maybe you'll catch another pump, but it's likely that the market's going to be going below where you bought and lower later, right? We made that very clear. So yeah, we'll see, guys. We're coming up on all these indicators, but all this short-term stuff is hard to predict. We are basically coming up on the trend line, still within the uptrend. It is still an uptrend until it's not, right? I'm going to stick by that. It's still an uptrend until it's not. But yes, we are very close to it not being. So I'll keep you guys updated. Smash the like, subscribe to this channel. And also for those of you that are interested in the trade that I was in, the LRC trade, I did get stopped out. First of all, I got stopped out for profit here. Then I tried to re-enter multiple times and took basically a large loss. I ended up losing pretty much half the position. So $1,700 cut in half. So, high leverage, pretty common. So you don't want to use more than, you can afford to lose essentially. But I'm still basically trying to get in, trying to be in, because again, it's an uptrend until it's not, right? We're in an uptrend until we're not. So in theory, when Bitcoin is at the RSI trend line, like we discussed earlier, that is the optimal long entry. That is actually the point of maximum opportunity until we break it. So I'm still trying to get into these trades. I'm still trying to, maybe hold on to potential long here. And so this one I re-entered recently. It is less than half of what I had before, but we'll see. Maybe I'll add to it if I feel confident. If LRC is breaking out above this resistance here or something like that, maybe I'll go back to the position I had before. But yes, I did take some losses. Of course, I mean, that is just how it is when you're trading on leverage. You're going to take losses. You're going to get burned if you're on leverage. You're going to. There's no way around it. So you have to be very prepared for that mentally, and you have to manage the risk very well, which I actually had a couple fumbles where I had a partial stop but forgot to put the full stop, and I got partially stopped, took an even bigger loss. Like even recently tried to get in, and just like, you look here, look at all the red, look at all the red there, look at all these red orders, right? So, you know, taking losses there, whatever, but we're going to try to long it again. We're going to, you know, Ethereum came down really fast here and is now bouncing up. We'll see. We'll see. So I'm up a little bit on this trade. We'll see if it goes well. Really, you know, if we get above this downtrend line for our loop ring, this is the low time frame. If we pop out of here, then I might do a little, I might add, it's basically like a breakout long and add to this position. I'm currently up 200 bucks, 40,000 LRC. I would prefer to have 100,000 LRC like I had before, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. A little bit tumultuous times, a lot of volatility, but we are still attempting to remain within the long here. So we'll see.